Hello. I know I do more autism videos than Catholic videos, a Catholic convert, which this account is a combination of. And I think I've mentioned this before. It's not that it's any less important aspect of my life. It is a big aspect of my life. The problem I have is I didn't grow up Catholic. I am converting and I'm 54. I've been to churches here and there, and so I grew up with an atheist. So I did not grow up with the talk, the verbiage, the vocabulary of Christianity. And when I'm around people who have grown up Christian, or at least have been in it for, excuse my car, for someone who's at least been in it for a while, I don't have that vocabulary. It doesn't come natural to me to express how I'm feeling. I'm better at describing situations I've been in, and feelings that I have, than saying phrases like, oh, the Holy Spirit was working in you then, or I have a bunch of examples, but they're getting log jammed in my head. So I can describe how I felt when I first went to the very first time I went to a Catholic church was actually, I was a teenager, and I went with friends and her family for Christmas Mass at night, and it was in a big cathedral, and it was just super beautiful and awesome. And I felt the ceremony of it and the tradition of it, and I liked that. But that was when I was 16ish. I used to beg my mom to take me to church, and anyway, and she wouldn't. So that was my very first experience, but it didn't really register at the time as something I would want to pursue. I may have thought, I wish I had this in my life. My friends did grow up Catholic, but at a certain age, they were allowed to choose whether they're going to stay in the church or not. But as a more educated, worldly adult, I finally just decided to say, my mom can be an atheist and live her life. I'm 54, but this is actually when I was 53, and I've been wanting to have a relationship and knowledge of God and Jesus and everything that happens with them. And I had made attempts in the past, but this was me putting just like, this is what I'm gonna do. And she was supportive. So my little town has a lot of churches, different denominations. And so I researched, I got a list of every church, denomination, and church, if it was non-denomination, and got on the internet and researched the doctrine for the different Christian religions. And you know, when I talk, I'm afraid I'm going to say something wrong. Like I'm going to say the wrong word. But anyway, I did research that way online, looked at pictures of their church and looked at their websites and things like that. I, drove by them, and because sometimes you can get a feel just from a drive-by, and I ended up selecting a handful of churches to try and see. And I went to the logical one I went to was Lutheran, because I was baptized Lutheran as an infant by the insistence of my grandparents. And I went to that one and didn't feel good there. Just didn't click. They were good people, but it just was not where I was meant to be. And I went to Baptist church. It's the biggest church here, and I went to that, and it was just too big, too noisy, too many kids running around, too much going on, just too much. And some of the values weren't in line with me. And I went to a Christian church that was more non-denominational, and it's also big, but there were even more children. And if you know anything about my autism, children are painful to my brain, the sound of their voices. I don't know if it's the tone, but especially if they get whiny or cry or screaming or wailing, I can have headphones on and still freak out. So that wasn't gonna work at all. And it just had the Baptist and the general Christian church, they seem to have less structure. It was kind of loose, and I didn't like that. I'm more of a serious person, and I live in my head. I'm a very thinking person. And so then I finally chose to go, the last one was the Catholic church here. And although it's small, it's not anything is like that one I went to with my friends when I was a teenager. It was more than just being romanticizing the whole presentation and all that. It wasn't that at all. I wasn't like enamored in the rosary and all the different feast days and all of that. It wasn't like that. It was, I sat down in the back pew, and I accidentally, unknowingly interrupted somebody while they were praying, and I feel so sorry for it. And she gave me a look, and I didn't realize that that period of time before Mass was used for, and I felt really bad. But anyway, I sat there and just kind of followed the flow of the service, and it just felt like home. It just felt, I was pulled, I felt a pulling. I want to know more. I really want to know more. And seeing the Mary big statue with the candles and the believe it's St. Joseph with the candles, and the little votive that you pay money for, and of Christ's journey with the cross on the walls. And it felt, I felt, like I said, a pull and a kind of a drive to learn more. Is this really meant for me? It feels good. It feels right. The difference being is that people left me alone for the most part. There is this one woman that is kind of like the self-appointed welcome wagon, and she distressed me just a little bit when I was going to leave, because she asked if I was gonna, if I was gonna be attending OCIA classes and stuff. But and I said, well, I'm thinking about it. And so I asked questions about, what is this and why is it here, and what is this and why is it here, and what does this represent, and started reading the Catechism and Catholicism for Dummies was a big deal for me. I'm almost done, but it's the book my go-to book right now, because I don't have the history. You know what I mean? And I want to feel like I have a more steady standing. And what do all these things mean that I'm doing? Like, I learned how to pray the rosary, but what do all those words mean? They aren't just words. Every phrase within it, within the prayer, means something. I love going to Mass on Sunday. It is like okay, I'm ready for the week. At home, I just feel like at the church on Sunday, when I come out, I feel more centered. I know who I am and what I want in life that I have left, and what's important, and I don't know how else to describe it. I just feel like I'm in the right place, doing the right things, and it feels good. It feels right. Only God would know why it took this long, but here I am. And at home, I pray at least twice a day in the morning, a very short prayer because I have a lot of anxiety. And my little prayer every morning is, please God, let this be a calm but productive day. That's all I'm asking for. And so, and sometime during the day, I try to read either my Bible or we get handouts for the OCIA class. I like to read those before the next class comes. And my Catholicism for Dummies during the day. I try to read my Bible during the day. If I can't, then I will do it at night. At night, I'm not a morning person at all. And it would make more sense, I guess, to pray the rosary to start your day off. But what it does for me, I say it at bedtime. And it just, for me, especially when I say the Our Father, I'm thinking of the day I just had and the good things about it. And, what happened in it, what can I do better? And I feel more ready for the next day. Whereas I used to have a lot of anxiety before bed, worrying about about all the things that were going to happen the next day. And I also found, I rely less on my anxiety medication because I have a little chaplet. I had a chaplet. I lost it. I'm making a new one. And while I'm driving, if I'm anxious, I can, or anytime, I can pray rosary, and I feel it works just as well, gets me through tough times, works just as well as Xanax. So I've been relying less on that medication. Relying more on prayer, particularly meditative prayer that involves some kind of ritual. I pray in the morning and then I pray at night, and that's when I address all of my family, praying for my family and friends, like the two I don't have any friends really, but the people in my life, and less focused on me, my bedtime prayer. And I pray for my loved ones that have passed away, especially one that I don't think he was baptized before he died, and he committed suicide. So I pray for him all the time. And I am not just using it as, it works as a tool for someone who has anxiety and someone who needs to calm down because they have autism disorder. But I understand that the physical thing helps make me feel better. Having it in my hand to touch. But I understand that there's more to it than just saying the words and holding the rosary or chaplet or whatever you're using. Even though I might be panicked at the time, and I use it to calm down, I am I am in those instances, I am, because of my autism, I am unable to conjure up prayer on my own. And so the rosary becomes, or a chaplet becomes, my prayer to help me. Please, God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, Mary, anybody, please help me through this meltdown. And it can help lessen a meltdown, and it can even prevent one from happening. So that is part of why I think, as someone with autism, I'm drawn to Catholicism. But I think the main thing that I'm drawn to is the history. I love reading the history and how the same things had been done the same for so long. And then also I love the idea of the Catholic Church being the same everywhere. It might be in different language, but I can go into any Catholic church and get the same vibe, get the same results, or, to help me. And know what to expect. It won't be new. There might be some variances, but so when I found that out, I was overjoyed. When I go to, I'm using the church, my local church, to do my OCI, but I want to, as a Catholic, I want to visit other Catholic churches as a Catholic member of the Catholic Church, and get communion, the Eucharist, and maybe I would like to go to a bigger one sometimes. And so anyway, I just wanted to let people know that I'm not all about just the autism here. The reason I focus more on it right now is because I'm going through therapy, and I've learned new coping skills for my autism, and they're working, and so I'm focusing on those right now because it will make me a better Christian to be able to focus properly and whatnot. So that's all she wrote for now. Bye.